Buenas noches, buenas noches.
Hola a todos. Bien, vamos a comenzar.
Hi, teacher.
Hola, Sandra. Sí, una disculpa por el martes, tuve un inconveniente, ya no pude llegar a la clase.
Lo extrañamos.
¿Cómo les fue con el profesor Arturo?
Bien, profe, nos fue bien.
A mí me cae re bien el profesor Arturo. Pero bien, ¿qué hicieron? Cuéntenme.
¿Aló?
¿Sí? ¿Me escuchas, Sandra?
Sí, ahora sí, disculpa que no los escuchaba.
No te preocupes. Les preguntaba qué hicieron el martes. ¿Con qué se entretuvieron en mi ausencia? ¿Sí me escuchan bien? Siento que no me están oyendo. O me están ignorando. No sé qué sea peor. Ok, bueno, supongo que quiere decir que sí me escuchas, ¿no? Bien. ¿Por qué no hablan? Están muy callados. Creo que... Ah, ok. No sé, corríjanme si me equivoco, pero creo que esta es la última clase. Ya a partir de lunes son vacaciones. Pero sí. Sandra, dime.
Teacher, can you repeat what did you say? Sorry, I have problem with my microphone.
Yes, of course. I ask you two things. The first
No
one
los
is,
escucho. Wait a moment, please. Oh, God.
¿los demás me escuchan bien? Creo que Sandra.
Sí,
Yes,
profesor.
teacher.
Hello? Bueno.
Sí, porque, bueno, si los...
Les pido mil disculpas por interrumpir. Hasta ahora logro escuchar.
Ah, no te preocupes, pero ¿ya me oyes bien?
Sí, ya.
Okay, well, I ask you two questions. The first one is, what did you do with Professor Arturo? And if today is the last class of the year, because I think that holidays start next week, Monday next week.
Oh, okay.
But tell me, what did you do? What did you entertain yourselves in my absence?
What we did last class? Yes, the topic was about up level. Up, was the word no es cierto? Up level, so something like that. Like
I only remember.
improve. I just I associate more with improve. What would you like to improve in your life in all areas? Could be in like in the studies or in to learn something or just in your life in general. Yes, the class was good, but honestly, I miss you. I really love this class with you, teacher.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate those words. Nonetheless, it's an interesting topic. I've been asking myself a lot lately, how to improve in the things I do. And well, I'm going to ask you a little question about this, but Miguel, ¿ibas a decir algo? Vi que levantaste la mano.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I remember we talk about the travel, no?
But that was before, the class before. Last class on Tuesday, I was
Yes,
here,
that's
so,
correct.
so you had a different topic. But it's okay, it's okay. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt that you are not improving? You're like in a period of not self-improvement, like you're like in a steady way. Sandra, yes.
Of course, teacher, yes. And especially, I am in the 50s, and in sometimes you feel, okay, what I have done in my life, there are things, and sometimes it's hard to see things for yourself. For example, many times, like people see things in me that I cannot see for myself. But yeah, it's very, I think that is normal to feel like that because there are things that still I would like to do. But in sometimes it's, you're dealing with other things because, how can I say, in my moment? Like now I have more time in somehow because it's my husband and I use at home with two little puppies that I can to invest more time in me. But like my body, my energy is not the same too because I work so hard all my life. I work right now, but I work just part time. Um, that's why right now I'm doing psychology, because it's all something that I always wanted to study. Like for example, sorry guys if I am taking so long. Just the thing is that when I was in high school, always my dream. I am really good for to draw. Like always I want to be like a designer, like a graphic designer and a journalist. That's what was my dream. But in the time that I had to have a choice, when I had to decide, I had to do something that provide me a job more immediately, because my circumstances at that time, they were not easy. And I was responsible for my parents. I have been responsible for my parents since I turned 18 years old. And that's kind of things happen in your life that you have to take other ways. And that's why like I can understand what you're saying, because for me right now is like the time that I can do other things that I wasn't able to do before, because I had to work hard to study. I was able to study business administration, and I did things for my life. But honestly, for example, the career that I did, the college degree that I didn't like it. I was more like need. It was good because thanks to that degree, I was able to work, but it was something that it doesn't make me feel passionate about it. Anyway, but now I'm looking for things. For example, I'm going to start to learn because I want to learn to play piano. Always I wanted to do that. And the Christmas gift for me this year is going to be the piano. And that's like kind of dreams, like I'm starting to work in those things that they are holding there in somewhere that I want to do.
Have you seen this? It's like a cartoon, or maybe it's like a graphic. I don't know if you have seen this. When you're young, you have time and energy, but you have no money. When you're older, you have money. Well, no time and more or less energy. And when you are old, you have money, but you don't have money and time, but you don't have the energy.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, and it's hard, because for example, for us as a women, it's harder because we had to go through something that is called menopause. And it's really really hard. It's like one day you feel totally different. You say, what is going on with me? But thanks God, I found the right doctor, and I'm working on it because right now I feel much better. And in a really good diet right now, and I'm doing a workout. I go with my husband 4 times per week to the gym. We are working both. The thing is, my husband and I, we are team. We are the best friends, and we are doing things together, and those things make things easier for us. But both we are like in the same path. He works for his things. He is always like how do you say? He is always studying something. My husband is always studying something, and that's good that I had the opportunity now to do my own things as well, like this.
That's a dream, having a good team with your best friend, right?
Mhm.
The thing is that I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Mostly because I think that when we, for example, my students from high school, they are like, "Oh, I have no time and I have to decide," and I'm like, "Blah blah blah," you know.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Dude, you are 17, 18 years old. You don't know what you are talking about. You have plenty of time. Obviously, not to." to waste any of that time, but you have a lot more than older people. And I'm not saying I really, really dislike this idea. And tell me if you agree or disagree, or maybe it's just my perception. I disagree. I highly disagree with this idea that there's a lot of memes and things like that that say the guys or people over 30 trying to do something. It's like, dude, after 30 you are done, you're an old guy. I don't think so. But there's like this idea, and I'm not sure if I'm getting that feeling because I'm more in that side of the fence, or it has always been like that. But for me, at my age, I don't have any problems learning to do something new. And it's just like you were saying, Sandra, you were studying psychology because you wanted, and you like drawing, and you like. Just now, a friend lent me a tablet, a graphic tablet, to start drawing. I want to start drawing again. When I was a kid, very young age, I loved comics, comic books. I mean, and I was like, why I cannot do something? Probably this idea of getting rich by doing some things that you like is something that in your later, when you are older, at least you are have a different perspective. That's only my opinion, because you can get rich at 90 by discovering oil or something like that. But I think that it's never late. But I have this feeling that most people have this idea, oh, that after you're 30, it's done. You cannot do anything else. Yes, Raúl.
Hola, profesor, buenas noches. Disculpa, compañera Sandra, no sé si entendí bien, pero ¿a ti te gusta tocar piano o algo así?
Quiere aprender.
Ah, ok. Pensé que, que había dicho que está bien. De hecho, bueno, en mi experiencia que yo he tocado piano, es algo muy lindo que uno libera sus emociones. Sobre todo, te conectas contigo mismo. Em, no lo sé, yo te lo puedo decir desde ¿qué se llama? Mi experiencia, pero cuando a veces estoy muy frustrado y toco, no sé si como que siento que libero todo lo malo que me ha pasado y es algo súper padre. Es como pasar en segundo plano.
Raúl, muchas gracias. Te entiendo, por eso lo quiero hacer, porque me encanta y de hecho escucho mucha música clásica, me encanta la música clásica también y, y para mí desconectarme, hacer mindfulness, para mí la música clásica y especialmente el piano me encantan. Entonces siempre ha sido un sueño querer aprender y en eso estoy. Eso era lo que les estaba contando un poquito.
Ah,
Gracias
ok.
por
Sí,
compartir
no es de qué.
tu experiencia y me encanta.
Ah, ok, es que como no había entendido muy bien, ahí alcancé a oír un poquito, dije piano, voy a ver si es realmente es eso. Otro tip que te puedo dar, siempre empieza a utilizar tu mano derecha cuando estés tocando el piano. Eso es para que no se te dificulte a la hora de juntar las dos manos. Y ya después la mano izquierda ya y posteriormente busca una canción que a ti te guste mucho, que te llame mucho la atención. No sé, en mi caso es Parelisa. Es una
Es
canción
la
muy
misma,
hermosa.
the same, the same. I love it. That's my
Ok.
favorite classic song. Yes, the same.
Sí, es una música muy bonita, la verdad. Entonces, para mí, yo te recomiendo este tip, ¿no? Primero con tu mano derecha, que practiques las notas, y ya después los tonos con tu mano izquierda, y poco a poco vayas juntando por pedazos, repartas la canción, y así poco a poco vas practicando, y al final tu pulsación mejora.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I will take that advice in consideration thoroughly. Thank you.
Music is something that has always kept me going, you know. I think that in my darkest moments, music has always been there. I'm a musician before anything else that I do, that I am. I think that I am a musician. So after 25 years, my dad told me, "Oh, you are going to leave it in 2 months." And 25 years later, I'm still here. And no, I have not any plans to leave it. Yeah, if you want to learn that, Sandra, I like Raul said, I totally uh, believe that you could do it. You should do it, and it's going to be amazing. It's an amazing journey learning how to play an instrument. You're going to connect to a lot of things in different ways that you have never experienced, in my opinion.
And
Very
I
good.
agree with you. Thank you so much. And thank you. I can't see his name because his last name is so long. Del
It's right.
Rosal Hernández. Raúl, muchísimas gracias.
Very good. Isaías, yes. Creo que tienes cerrado el micrófono, Isaías.
Good night, teacher. Excuse me. I am new to class, but I am starting with Duolingo. I think the class is the advanced for my, but I want advancing in my learning. Profesor, buenas noches. Ante todo, soy un alumno nuevo aquí en su clase y la verdad que me perdí muchas clases porque se cruzaban con un trabajo que había hecho un esfuerzo para poder compartir un poco de lo que usted está enseñando a los alumnos. El inglés en realidad quizás me ha acompañado desde muy pequeño, pero por falta de práctica he dejado mucho y algunas cosas he olvidado y he encontrado el Duolingo y como la universidad también de alguna forma me orientó. Estoy estudiando con Duolingo y estoy en la clase, en la tercera fase, en la clase número 28 creo que estoy. Y bueno, estaba dando por mí mismo. Así que he aprendido algunas cosas y recuerdo muchas cosas también. Y en su clase deseo aprender más y fundamentalmente mi forma de entender, mi forma de pronunciamiento, porque al final eso es lo que más me cuesta de repente aprender, profesor. Muchas gracias por escuchar.
No hay de qué, Isaías. Sí, cualquier duda que tengas en cualquier momento me puedes interrumpir y preguntarme. Sí, lo que me interesa, no lo separo por niveles, es algo que es a propósito. Pero si tienes alguna duda, algo que no entiendas, interrúmpeme, levanta la mano, lo que sea, y te lo puedo explicar, ¿va?
Okay, teacher. Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Very good. Noé, you were agreeing, you were nodding actually when Sandra was telling us about what she's doing. What do you think?
Sorry, I didn't catch. What did you say?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Sorry, I didn't catch very well. What did you say?
Well, she was actually the idea that I had, the question that I did actually
Ah,
is if this idea of if you're over 30, you cannot do nothing new. That's
yeah, okay. Yeah, I think after 30, they're still young. The people still young because I'm 25, so I'm more I'm near more my of 30s than my 20s. Well, yeah, I think because my brother is 34 and he looks like like 18 years old, so yeah, the people say that so yeah, it's a good age because the 20s is more like we're still learning about everything about something. So yeah, in the 30s I think it's more like we have that experience, more experience. We learn about a lot of things. So yeah, it's a good age. It's a good age. Even more than the 30s. So yeah, I agree with that.
I think that one of the biggest problems that we have as human beings is that as we grow older, we are continually losing this capacity to be surprised. You think that you have seen everything, and probably you have seen a lot more than younger people, but this idea of taking a moment to be amazed by things, something that we lose as we grow older. I'm quite a weird guy in some things, especially because there's a lot of small things that catch my attention, and I can stay for a long time observing those things. One quick example: have when was the last time that you observed ants, how they behave? A couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine left a bottle of Coke here. It was opened. He left that bottle open, I mean. And next day, I get into the office and I've seen a tremendous amount of ants. And instead of killing them, because I have this pact with nature not to attack any other being, but I was watching what they did for a long time, and I was amazed. And my brother came and, what the hell are you doing? Put some lemon or something to get rid of them. And I was like, no, I don't know. That's the way I am. Probably I'm a weirdo, but I really like doing those things. Very good. Alejandro, yes.
Hi, teacher. Hello, everyone. About that question, I don't think that the 30s are the age where you can learn anything. It's the total opposite, I think, because I think that the 20s is like uh, a second type of teenager, and the 30s is like the new 20s. You have more money, more freedom, more time to do stuff. I think it's better age than the 20s in my experience. And also, I'm 35 and I'm here in the UCA University studying systems engineering, and I never thought I was going to do that when I was 20, for example.
And I remember when I was doing my master's degree, I was like, all my classmates were younger. Only two were older than me, and I was like, um, what I'm doing. But in the end, I was there for learning. I never had second thoughts about that. But yeah, like you said, you're 35 and you're here and you're learning new things because you want. Because I think that no one is forcing you to learn these things or to have a new career or the first. It doesn't matter. I think that it's all because you want to.
Yes.
And I'm like you say, the 30s are the new 20s, and like I think that I don't know. I'm one of those guys that now that I have money, I'm buying a lot of things that I couldn't buy when I was a kid. For example, probably you're going to
Totally.
you most of you are not having the least idea of what I'm talking about, but I have always wanted a messenger figure. I always wanted one, and I'm I'm working for one because they're so expensive. I understand why my dad never wanted to buy me one, but it's like, okay, I'm doing what I want. I have the lifestyle that I want. So I think that it's not like a good idea to have these thoughts. But my question, and this is something I would like you to retake, the main idea of this is why social media is so inclined to make you think that, because I've seen a lot of that. Oh no, guys, for example, memes, like I told you, memes that guys over 30 trying to, and you name it. And he's like, I don't know. But that's like the main idea that I have when I started this topic. We'll see. Raul, yes.
Answer your question, Professor. In my opinion, I think today some things are present more fairly than before. This make on can see and observe and also we know how to choose where where he wants to go. But is certainly stay where in a certain psychology, psychology or
Psychology.
psychology, psychology character, as mentioned in the book, K. Bacchus in horse to group up. No sé si me di a entender.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. Let me see. Sandra, yes.
Teacher, it's just I had something to add about your question. For example, I can explain something about two cultures. One thing is Colombia, like my country, like it's the feeling that if you turn 30 and you haven't like achieved certain things, like you are done. Like for example, when you are going to apply for companies, and sometimes it's really hard for people to get a job after the 30s, and it's something very cultural. But here in USA, is like even in Colombia for to find your partner, for, like to create a family or something is hard. And I'm least speaking about from the women's side, it's hard. But here in USA, it's totally different. Like here is every day is an opportunity that you can reach whatever you want, no matter what age. For example, I live in an area where a lot of people that is retired live, and I can go to everywhere and I can see 70 years, 80 years, 90 years old person working part time. You can see couples that they are dating at their 70s, 80s, and that's not something that normally happen in a country like mine, like in Colombia. The other thing is that I don't know, but it's also that feeling that before, when you used to see a person that was 30 or 40, you see that person and that person looks old, like really old. But now it's different because people is taking care more about themselves. Like it's not the same to see a woman in their 50s like you see maybe 20 years ago or 10 years ago, and a woman in their 50s. It's totally different. I don't know if, uh, do you understand what is my idea about it?
Yeah, of course, and I have a strong idea about that. You made this comparison between the United States and Colombia. Let me do the same comparison between the States and Mexico. The huge and the biggest difference is, I hope not to offend anyone with this, but most Latin American countries are third world, and the lifestyle is very different. I find really annoying, and I'm going to say this only from my point of view and my experience. I find really annoying when people say that Mexicans are lazy. We are the second uh, more hardworking people in the world. The problem is that we have to deal with a lot of things like corruption, like the lack of opportunities, like incredibly high taxes, because in Mexico we pay 40% of taxes. And I'm not defending any government, but that's a reality. If you don't want to see it, or if you want, it's up to you. But it's the thing, you are going to spend most of your life working, and you are going to get to an old age with no perspectives. Let me give you a quick example. People who work in constructions, albañiles, I'm going to say, they earn quite good money. Actually, if you take a look at how much a mason, that would be the word in English, earns, it's decent. But they don't have like a lot of culture to save. They don't have pensions, you name it. So you spend all your life working, and in the end, what are you going to do? Obviously, it depends on a lot of factors. People who tend to save money are going to have a better old age, in my opinion. But those who not are going to have a bad experience. But I think that's the idea, and I cannot speak by experience with what you were saying, Sandra, about the United States. But I can tell you this from experience in Europe. I have a lot of knowledges that they have very, very good salaries, and they are saving for their retirement. And they are doing. I know this guy. He just retired. He's 65, and he started a wine company because that was his dream since he was young. I want to have my own wine brand. And he's doing quite fine. He is actually starting to export to a lot of Latin American countries. So I think that that idea has to be the pinpoint or something. How many people have the same opportunity in Latin American countries? Because I hope that, well, all of us are aware that to start a business requires a lot of money. That's something that you have to take into consideration. I don't know. It's only a perspective. You can prove me wrong if you want. But yeah, in the end, there's a lot of things that. How do you think about what would be something that a man, let's start with a man in her 50s, should not do? Let's see how many prejudice you have with this. We all have prejudice, so don't take this in a bad way. A man in his 50s should not do. Alejandro?
I think like maybe dress up like a youngster. Like I think that person in his 50s may have a more serious aspect or serious looking.
What what would be like these garments, this clothing that he should not use?
Like a backwards cap.
Like a backwards cap?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Or maybe I don't know. No, I don't know. Um, hmm, I can't think of any more things. A skateboard.
Well, obviously, I wouldn't recommend a skateboard because if you break an arm or a leg, you're going to take a long time to heal. And especially, I think I know this guy. He's a very, very good guitar player. He was my teacher at one point, and I remember when he was in his mid 40s, he broke his arm because he was skating. And he's a musician, so obviously, as a guitar player, breaking an arm is not good notice. But a friend told me it's ridiculous for for a guy his age to break an arm doing skateboard, and I was like, why? Yeah, because that's something that you should do when you're a teenager. And I was like, okay, I ended the conversation right there because I think that it was getting nowhere. The point here is that what I think what would prevent me to doing skateboarding, besides my almost null ability to skate on a skateboard, I'm pretty good on skates, but it's like I don't need to break an arm in order to be dependent on others. At my age, having a broken arm by doing something like that is irresponsible because I cannot do a lot of things. I cannot work in some things. Maybe I cannot drive. So that's what I think when I have this idea of why should I not skate. But Claudia said dating women in their 20s. I want to hear the female side of this opinion. I know she was joking, but I want to know the female side. Why should not a guy in his 50s date a woman under 20s? Obviously, anyone can answer, but I'm quite interested in what, for example, Sandra could say about this.
Hi, teacher. What I can say about it? Okay. It just, I think that it's my personal opinion, and I don't want to offend nobody, but in somehow, and I don't know if I told you in one of the classes, but I was married before with a Colombian guy, and obviously the reason that we got divorces was because he likes a lot of women and he likes younger women, and it's just kind of the experience with my ex-husband and my friends is like men in the 50s are not just 50s, 60s, 70s that they date younger, really young girls. It's a lot immature perspective for me. I can here, I don't know, but you can see guys that they are 60, 70, they try to dress up like they are in 30s, and they do a lot of surgery, so they cover the hair in color, they dry their hair is like something that is fake, it just I don't know honestly what to say. I just think that is a very immature part to, yeah, to say that. I know that a man can like date 10 years, 15 years for me could be normal, but like almost double or almost like your grandchild, dating like a person could be your grandchild. No, I don't think that is right.
One thing, and there's something I would like to tell all of you about, not this topic, but something that you mentioned about your opinion that I consider very important, not only in this class but in life. But I'm going to that in a second. Um, it's interesting because I have not friends in this situation, but I have people I know that have they're in their 50s and they're dating 20-year-old girls. The thing here is that a lot of them think that they can manipulate women at that age because they are naive. And trust me on this one, for the things I've seen, it's quite the opposite. Women is the one are the ones who are manipulating these guys because, oh yes, I have a very young girlfriend and you name it, but in the end, no, you are being manipulated in the experience, not experience, because it's not my case, but in these situations that I've known, it's like that, and it's very interesting from a.
Especially this generation, teacher, sorry for bothering you, but this generation, and in Colombia, you go, I don't know, you have heard about the trips that a lot people from USA and other countries are doing in Medellin for the weekends with women, very young women over there. It's kind of prostitution business, and it's crazy. It's crazy and it's sad, but it's the reality. And I think that the girls now in 20s, they know how to play guys. Women are very smart.
Oh yes, and we are living in the OnlyFans generation, and this is going to be quite a sociological phenomenon in a couple years. We are going to see that. I don't know what is going to happen, but we'll see, and it's going to be interesting to say the least. Now, the thing that I wanted to say about the opinion. Obviously, this class is completely open to all opinions, all beliefs. I respect each one of your beliefs. Obviously, as long as you don't disrespect our classmates. Obviously, I'm not saying this because of Sandra. She has been always super respectful. I'm just, it's an idea that popped into my mind. But I have this way of thinking. Let me think. Let me know what you think about. Um, Hypothetical, completely hypothetical right now. If I have an opinion that bothers you, whose problem is it?
Will you please repeat that?
Yes, yes, of course. If I have an opinion that bothers you, whose problem is it? Si yo tengo una opinión que le molesta a alguien, ¿de quién es el problema? No?
Yours. No, no, just kidding. Just kidding. Obviously, mine, because it's your opinion. It's not like your opinion. My opinion is the right opinion. So yeah, we have different opinions each other. So yeah, it's mine, totally mine.
Very good. Alejandro?
I agree with Noé because, yes, of course, you can have your opinion and you are entitled to your opinion.
Yes, everyone is entitled to an opinion. I totally agree with that. But I think that there should be one point where you should draw the line, don't you think? For example, I think that opinions are irrelevant to some point in terms that there are not actions. For example, what would you say, any of you, what would you say if I tell you that I support slavery? Obviously, I don't, but no,
Well,
yes.
in that case, I think
Oh, yes, Alejandro, and
you will raise a few brows because I think that is a very important and general subject. So in that case, I believe that yes, maybe that opinion can hurt somebody.
who who could hurt that opinion?
Um, I don't know. I don't want to sound or step in anyone's toes, but if you were talking to a group of people that with certain demographic, they could feel offended if you were going to say that.
Exactly. For example, if I talk or I'm speaking to a group of African Americans and I say that I support slavery, probably they are going to get offended, and with all just cause. The thing here is that it's only an opinion. And the thing here, I'm giving you a very extreme example with this because something that all we do is jumping into conclusions. Like I say, I'm a historian. I told you this before. If I tell you I support slavery, and you jump to my neck and say, "Oh, you're a slavery, no, sclavist," and you name it. It's like, wait, maybe I have a point of view, I have a perspective that you're jumping to conclusions. Obviously, this is a very harsh topic that is not suitable for most conversations, and like Alejandro said, to most demographics. But Noe, you were going to say something. Sorry.
No, I just want to know what is that. What is the?
Slavery?
Yes, exactly that.
Esclavismo.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obviously it's going to hurt some people, especially if you have. I think that there are still people whose parents or more probably grandparents were slaves. So this is not that old topic. So it's going to be harsh for a lot of people. Sandra, yes.
Teacher is just trying to get your point. The thing is that we live in a society where like we are very reactive, you know, we don't listen. The thing is that, you know, naturally our system is always working in judge, sorry, the word that is hard for me, judgmental part. Always you are doing ¿cómo se dice juicios, teacher? Juicios.
Judgment.
Judgment. You are always doing judgment. Those judgments could be positive or negative, but always you are thinking about something. This is beautiful, this is ugly, I like this or don't, you know, like always your brain is like working in those kind of judgments. But the thing is that people is reacting always into, they don't put those thoughts in a filter, you know, because sometimes you have to really listen to put a little filter in your brain, but people is just being If you tell something and I feel offended, immediately the people is reacting and to answer back something, to get involved in a really hard situation. And this is like a normal life. But in the end, we have to understand that what we believe, what we say, everything in the way we feel, in the way we think, what we think has to be in the way that we grow up, in the family where we live, in the country, in the school that we went, our beliefs goes from there. And that's why we think in somehow that maybe others know. It's like, for example, it's hard to speak with people about religion, you can see a religion that is totally wrong, but if somebody was born in there, how you can tell that person that that person is wrong and I am right? Do you understand my point? Is that's kind of what is my thoughts about that? That the people needs to really to listen and to understand that what the person is saying is because is where the person comes from, and it's nothing that has to do with me, like just to respect is an opinion, but it can hurt me because it's the way that the other person thinks, like I have my points of view.
You made an excellent point with this, because religion is a very good example of what I'm saying. Uh, with taking out religious extremists, I think that most religions try to keep humankind in control. But I'm going to be very specific with this: in control, like don't hurt anyone, don't do to others what do you want them to do to you. That's my point. Um, and most religions are like that. Respect everyone, respect their possessions, their persons, their wife is one of the most important commandments in almost every religion. Like I told you, without considering extremists at some point, because obviously we talk about the Crusades, we're going to have a lot of problem. My point here is that what is the origin of the conflict between religions is not the basic principles, because all of them say be nice to other people. Is like the real problem is saying I am right. It doesn't matter if we believe in not doing any harm to others. The thing is that I want you to tell me that the name of my God is the true one. It doesn't matter if your God is saying the same thing. It's that need that we have as human beings of always being right. Like you said, we Sandra, we live in a very reactive society. Everyone feels compelled to have an opinion, and a lot of times most of us don't have enough information to make an opinion, because we're not informed, because we're not specialists, because we are not um, we are entitled but not capable of giving an informed opinion. Prove me wrong if you want. And you can think about any scandal out there, and everyone is giving their opinion. Your opinion is not always necessary. If you don't know what you're talking about, do everyone and you in first place and shut up. A favor and shut up. I always try to have an informed opinion on things before saying it, because if not, you're making a dumb out of you. And if you happen to find someone who is really informed, is going to use you like an scapegoat to have its point. Never, there's a saying: never bring a knife to a gunfight. Have you heard of that? I love that. That.
My teacher, would you please to repeat it?
Yes, of course. Never bring a knife to a gunfight. In Spanish, nunca lleves un cuchillo a un duelo con pistolas. If you're not informed enough, you're going to be the scapegoat. And probably if you have a valid point, but you don't have enough arguments to prove it, the other guy who has a lot, maybe a bit more information, is going to destroy you. So be cautious when you say that. I don't know, but Facebook lately is like a nest of all this gossiping and scandals and things like that. The last one I heard is that Ariana Grande is the actress from Wicked. Yes, she is. She is. And everyone is saying that she has drug problems and things like that, only because she's thinner than a year ago for this role. And I like, I don't know, I don't care honestly, but what gives me the right, or every one of us, what gives us the right to have an opinion and to attack her, like saying, "Oh, you are wrong and you are doing that." Like, live and let die, my friend. That's my motto. I probably there's. What do you think about smoking? Probably most of you don't like to smoke, right?
If you want to have a healthy lungs, please don't smoke. You want to have a healthy life. But it's hard, for example, for people that we don't like the smoke and the smell, that we had to live in a world that, oh, they can smoke and they can smoke around you. They had the right to smoke, but the ones that we don't like to smoke, we have to smell the smoke from them. And it's hard.
Yeah, yeah. In my experience, is like if you want to smoke, go ahead. It's fine by me, but do it at a respectful distance and in open spaces. For example, I used to play in Navarre before the pandemic, and I remember that obviously there's a regulation for not smoking indoors, and the bar owner said, "It's okay." He bribed, you know, an officer, and everyone was smoking inside, and I was like, I hate that. I have allergies, and tobacco smoke is pretty harsh on my nose. And I remember every night going back home and getting in bed, and a couple times I didn't change my T-shirt, just went to bed, and the next day I was like, why my bed stinks like that? I don't like that, but I respect your right to smoke as long as you are not disrespecting my right of not liking it, because you are aggravating me. It's not like an opinion, it's a physical aggravation. But um, at the same time, probably most of you don't remember this, when you could smoke in cinemas, in movie theaters, on planes, it was allowed. And it's not that long. I think like 30 years ago, you could even smoke in the office, for example. I remember one of my first jobs were on a textile factory, and I remember the big boss was smoking in his office, and I was like, okay, today that's unbelievable. You cannot smoke indoors. That's it. But obviously, this is a matter of more. It's difficult. Can you think of any example like this, like doing something that it's bad for you, probably, but you are not breaking anyone's rights, anyone else's rights? I mean, there's a very clear example right now: legalizing drugs. Not all of them, but some. What what would you care if marijuana, for example, is legalized globally, not only in a few countries? Is that something that would you support, and why? Yes, Alejandro.
Well, I don't think it is such a big deal. I mean, always as people are respectful of other persons. Recently, like 1 year ago, I was in Las Vegas, and it's amazing how everywhere you go, it smells like marijuana. Even if you are in the street or in the restaurant, and there are a lot of stores that sell that product, and it's like any other business. It's totally normal over there. And the thing that I was very interested about is that uh, people we see it as something very normal, not like in Mexico that, oh my goodness, drug addicts, those are criminals and stuff. It's very different point
Yeah,
of view.
obviously, it's very different. And I've never been to Vegas, but I've been to Amsterdam, and the only people that are stoned in the streets are tourists. You don't see any locals like that. Obviously, they go in Amsterdam. You go to a coffee shop to get stoned, but you don't see locals on the streets doing crazy things. It's interesting. Only tourists, and they do. Locals consume, but they don't have like this idea. Oh yeah, I have the right now, so I'm going to explode it, and I'm going to do all things of crazy things. And I don't know. I think this is something more related to mentality than to rights. Sandra, yes, you were going to say something.
Teacher, no, for me it's really hard to and all the things about marijuana because it's hard for me to smell that. It's horrible for me. There was in the last vote hearing in USA for president. They were like they're trying to pass like a law here in Florida for to accept marijuana as a free thing. Thanks God they didn't accept it. Not yet. Not yet, and I'm happy with that. But it still is really hard. I have been in Las Vegas too, and it's horrible because everywhere you walk, is everything smells to marijuana. I have been in Miami, like in the other side of the state, and it's horrible because in the beach and it's marijuana and the streets marijuana. It's hard. Yeah, I really. It's hard for me as a mom and it's hard for me as a grandma. What is the expectations for the future generations? It's sad for me because for to have a happy life and a really like a meaningful life, you don't need those things in your life. It's my opinion, and I am so blessed because I had the most beautiful childhood. I was really poor, but we were so happy, and those kind of things didn't exist in our lives, never. And I'm so proud about that. And in the way, I think that any narcotic, nothing like that is needed for to have a happy life.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I think that the problem is not because drugs have been around for a long, long time, way before we were born. But the thing is that I think that I believe that when you are using anything, not only drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, anything, when you are using that to cover up something that you are lacking, that's a real problem. Because you are lacking the tools to face reality. And sometimes I'm not criticizing. If you want to use, it's up to you. As long as you don't harm others, I don't have a problem. But you made a very good point there, Sandra. It's like we grew up in a different situation. So some say ignorance is bliss. I don't know.
Teacher, but just let me tell you, when I came here in the first moment of my life, sorry, Patricio, that I took your word. But for example, I remember that when I say that I'm Colombia, I say, oh, Colombia, cocaine and everything. And I just say, I'm oh, sorry, we produce it and we are the smart people, you consume it. I never in my life, even that, like I am from Medellin, where Pablo Escobar was, that I was part of all the war that was in Colombia at that time of Pablo Escobar about drugs and everything. But honestly, in Colombia, in commercials, in everything, drugs is bad. Drugs is bad. Never, even a friend that consume marijuana say, Sandra, come on, try this. Oh, never in my life. And I say, it's so sad because now it's so easy that your children can involve in those situations because friends are bringing those to parties, to schools, and everywhere. And it's for me is a big, huge problem in this country.
In any country, actually. I can tell about fentanyl. Crocodile in Russia was very, very scary. But they have existed for a long time, and I don't think that people are not going to stop using it. So we have to attack that problem in a very different way. Rafael, yes.
I was just gonna defend the city I live in from time to time, and it's Vegas was always stinky, but it got worse after they legalized marijuana for sure. But down there is merely cultural. It's basically just black people using it or smoking it. Maybe some white guys too, but I think it kind of reduces just to the majority of those two different races. Everybody else, they go there, they get drunk, they get stupid, and they lose their conscience because of all the alcohol they drink. But they're really not out there like smoking it. But a lot of you'll see a lot of black people there smoking weed, and they smell, and they walk by you, and you can tell it's that particular race that is causing the issue there. And I'm there every weekend. Like I'm flying there tomorrow. I'll be there. I'm somewhat local now, but there's a whole other life outside the strip. The strip stinks. There is a whole other life outside the strip in Vegas, and it's pretty normal, just like anywhere else. It's like going to Mexico City and go to Garibaldi, and it's nice at night, but in the morning there's drunk people and addicts just doing their thing there in bright daylight. But it's just like anywhere else in the world. That life is the lifestyle of the city.
Yeah, like you say, I think it's cultural. And one thing that popped into my attention when you were saying this is that you have the facts, but I felt, correct me if I'm wrong, that you wouldn't like to describe those people or their characteristics for a reason, and I understand that. But facts are
You can't be racist.
yeah, exactly. But the facts are out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and you can no longer express the facts because someone find that offensive. That's a reality. If you find that offensive, it's up to you. You are seeing it. You are seeing the results. And the thing, I'm not supporting any racist actually behavior or that, but those are facts. Take a look at what's happening to Europe. I'm not saying that everyone is like that, but the facts are out there, and we are no longer able to express that because of politeness. I don't know. Sometimes I
Yeah.
feel like, uh, uh, you know, I don't understand some things anymore.
Yeah, I know. And I just want to wish everybody a happy end of the year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I don't think we're going to see each other until the second week of next year. So you guys have a good time. Enjoy the family. Profe, it was good having you almost for a year now. And we missed you on Tuesday. So, we're looking forward to see you guys and hopefully more people to join next year.
Justamente lo que dijo Rafael, ya es la última clase del año. Como igual, bueno, Rafael se me adelantó en todo eso. Disfruten mucho a su familia, a sus seres queridos, independientemente de lo que celebren, de lo que crean. Disfruten las vacaciones, descansen. Me parece que vamos a regresar el 13 de enero, ya les avisarán, pero sí es la última clase del año. Un gusto haber estado con ustedes este tiempo. Espero que hayan aprendido algo, que les haya gustado, que se hayan reído, que hayan mejorado en lo que hayan hecho. Pásensela muy bien. Les repito, descansen. Enero es rudo para todos. Que tengan un excelente fin de año. Cuídense mucho. Cualquier duda que tengan, ya tienen mi correo, me pueden escribir. Yo realmente nada más voy a estar de vacaciones un par de días. Yo sigo trabajando. Entonces, pásensela muy bien. Cuídense mucho.
Profesor, muchas gracias.
Gracias, profesor. Felicidades.
Thank you.
Bien.
estén muy
Feliz
bien.
año, teacher. Gracias,
Feliz
teacher.
año.
Feliz Navidad y feliz año para todos.
Realmente,
Bye.
fiestas. Bye.